Hey tribe, welcome back. We are live. I'll give it a few seconds here, kind of adjust some stuff, how I'm sitting. Lately, I've been doing videos and recorded videos, and I'm kind of sitting more angled like this because I'm really going over kind of book study. I have the mic sitting here, my arm sitting right here, but I get animated when I talk and I start hitting the mic. So I have to be careful of that. But I got this one, like this is the Rode Pod mic, so Rode. So I got this one because my desk is too thick for Rode has one where you can attach it to like your desk here and it comes up and over where I could hang it over me where you can't really see it. Now sometimes you can if I want to bring it down here, but my desk, they made this desk, my desk is flipping that thick, dude. And when they make that harness bar, it's only like that big. So, but anyway, enough of technical talk. We are on the book You². I believe we are on what chapter are we on? Chapter 8 or chapter 9? Uh yeah, chapter 8 or chapter 9. And huh? You got me some donut? Ooh, yeah. Can you have Ian bring me the donut? Yeah. Okay. They don't know I'm live. They brought me some. Aang and her sister. Her sister came up here because her sister might have to have surgery. So they kind of do it weird in Thailand. Like her sister lives in Bangkok, but she's from Surin. But you do surgery where you're from. Now they will do surgery in Bangkok, the Bangkok hospital, but you have to pay cash, like straight up how much it costs. But if you come back to your hometown, they do surgery for free for you. Well, it's not technically free, it's 30 baht. So 30 baht is $1. Hey, did you get me donut?
Huh?
Did you get me donut?
Yeah, we have better now.
Oh, okay.
You don't come out?
Yeah, I'm on video.
Okay, but my brother will then. Oh, you want to eat here?
I can eat here.
Okay, wait.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay, can you make me a coffee?
Can, but it's like this. อร่อยมาก
A Roy Mark?
อร่อยมาก
What is it?
Coffee.
It's pretty good.
อร่อยมาก
A little sweet in the morning, though.
I don't eat
Yeah.
coffee like you.
Okay, yeah, it's a little bit busy this morning, so I apologize, but honestly, I'm kind of moving in that direction of not making so polished videos, especially live. I mean, sometimes it's just crazy here. Sometimes I'm here by myself, or it's just me and Aang, her dad, or whatever, and that's cool, But right now, we have our sisters here, her brother-in-law's here, nephew's here. We got guy here. Well, he's in school right now. So it is what I would. I used to kind of like, oh, I can't go live. I had to go someplace quiet and not be disturbed. And now it's just like, this is my life. So being able to show kind of, this is what's going on, baby. And just be okay with that and kind of show more on my personal side and stuff like that. And I'm kind of pretty good with that. But I think what happens is when you know a lot about a certain subject, like in my videos, it's easy for me to go into serious mode. And once I get talking about it, I'm in serious mode. So I just want to kind of switch things up here and stuff like that. So they're probably going to come in again with my donuts. We'll see. I might be done by the time we get to that. But anyway, where was I? I don't even know what I was talking about. But anyway, we are on You². I think we're on chapter 8 or chapter 9. I forget what chapter, because remember in the book You² Pritchett, he doesn't write it kind of like a chapter. He just changes the thought. Like each one's like a chapter, but he just don't have it there. So I kind of forget what chapter we're on. But today is focus on the end. And I've read this a long time ago, but I didn't skim this before I came on. So focus on the end, I'm assuming, is going to be kind of like Neville Goddard's Living in the End. I'm just assuming that's what it's going to be about. But let me put my glasses on. We'll get ready to do this. we get ready and rock and roll and get going. Get going with this live. Get going with this live stream. And that's another thing too. I really want to. I've been going live every day probably now for because we did the 5-day money challenge, and I went live every day. Then when we came back doing this, the only day I took off last week was Sunday. I didn't go live on Sunday, but I went live all last week. So that's one of the things I really want to start doing is going live. And we'll do different live streams. It won't always be, a book and stuff like that. We're just, sometimes I'll pop on here. People can ask me questions, anything that they want to ask and stuff like that. And you happen to pop on, you see me live, you can pop on, ask me a question. You feel free to ask me questions anyway, even if we're doing book studies, you know what I mean? Because I am on my desktop. So I see it. It's because my monitor is big. So I see things coming in. Ooh, y'all. Thank you. Got my coffee. This is my second glass. This is my first one. I like black coffee, yo. So, ooh, hot. But I never, it's weird. I've only drank coffee maybe the last 5 years of my life. The last 5 years since maybe 2020, something like that. 2019, I started drinking coffee.
Sorry. But this, the shop that you never eat before.
Oh,
the
really?
Shop that never open. They open today.
Oh, okay. Thai donut.
Thai donut, yes, very good.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thai donut right here. These Thai donuts, it kind of reminds me. Aang just brought me these Thai donuts. Then I got my coffee right here. Where can you see it? But these Thai donuts remind me. They make them just like a long, long time ago when I was in Cub Scouts. It's just like dough, and they put it in hot oil, and it makes a donut. And you either put sugar or powdered sugar on it, or whatever you want. They don't put sugar on theirs, but it's just like the regular donut. But that's 100% how they make it. Is how when I was in Cub Scouts many moons ago. This is exactly how they made the Thai donut. This isn't what the live stream is about. Is Thai donuts. It's really about this book study, but again, Aang and her sisters here, and they went to the street market this morning. And I knew going live, they're going to be coming back with food and donuts and stuff like that. So, hot. But anyway, let's dive into this. Okay, we are on focus on ends rather than means. That's what the whole chapter title. And let's read his quote here before we kind of get onto this. He has a little bit more written than usual. It's only 1.5 pages, not bad. The key is not to get in your way. Isn't that amazing? I think in success and manifesting, we get in our own way. Like in manifesting, we get in our own way because we're trying to figure out the how. We're trying to figure out how it's going to come to us. Okay, you're in your own way. You know what I mean? Okay, in manifesting, how do you get out of your own way? Is you let the universe, you let God do its job. Makes sense? You get out of your own way. Okay. I heard Dan Henry say this. I actually made a video about it. I believe it's public on my public side. Is get out of your own way. He said it. I'm trying to think how he said it. He wasn't talking from a manifesting standpoint, but he was talking from a millionaire man standpoint because he's more business and marketing. But he was saying that if how did he say that? I remember how he said it is becoming a millionaire is easy. What's hard is getting out of your own way. Isn't that amazing? There's a lot of depth to that. You know what I mean? If you really think about it, becoming a millionaire is easy. What's hard is getting out of your own way. So what I did, I flipped it to manifesting. You know what I mean? Manifesting is easy. What's hard is getting out of your own way. No matter, you can plug that into almost anything. Law of assumption is easy. What's hard is getting out of your own way. You know what I mean? Because we're always in our own way. Okay, now let's get rocking and rolling. Focus on the ends. Let's figure out what Pritchett is meaning to this as I take a sip of coffee. Coffee's really crazy hot. I don't know if you can see the can you see the steam? Nope. But anyway, let's get going. Okay, I'm done playing around. You don't have to know how you're going to get there, but you need to know where you want to go. Listen to that. It's kind of like an oxymoron. You don't have to know how you're going to get there, but you need to know where to go. So you need to know your attention. You need to know what you want, but you don't need to know how you're going to get it. That's what he's really saying. It is critical to have a crystal clear picture on what you want to accomplish. Operate with a sharply defined mental image of the outcome you seek. Rivet your attention on that spot where you are to land at the end of your quantum leap. Visualize your arrival. When you do that, it's like you magnetize yourself to the ways and means involved in the methodology for getting there. The solutions begin to appear, answers come to you. Okay. Okay, it's early in the morning. I don't know if it's just his style of writing. Well, the thing is, I'm not joking. I'm so used to reading these old school manuscripts. Then when I read something like how we write today, I can hardly read it. It's like it's so used to reading Neville Goddard and Thomas Troward, and I'm getting to a point where I can just like read it pretty fast. But really, what he's talking about, okay, let's kind of put it a little bit more clearer on what he said and clearer than probably how I said it. Okay, how I read it is that what he said is what every prosperity teacher says, old school. Thomas Troward, Joseph Murphy, Napoleon Hill, Neville Goddard, Abdullah, whoever. You know what I mean? It's all regurgitated information. Okay, everything I teach, I didn't learn. I mean, it's not mine. I learned it. Not that I didn't learn it. I said it backwards a little bit, but it's not my material. You understand? I didn't come up with manifesting. I didn't come, what people do is they change the terminology and they make the terminology their own when they act like I've invented it. I found out the secret, but the secret's always been there. The secret's always inside you. The secret's in consciousness. You know what I mean? Nothing is ever outside of you. All the answers are within you. Everything you seek is within you. You just have to believe that. You understand that? But really what he's talking about in this paragraph is living the end. Act as if. Okay. What you want, what he's saying in the beginning, you have to be crystal clear on what you want. You have to have a definite purpose, a desire, an attention. Okay. You have to know exactly what you want. Okay. Like Neville Goddard, once you know exactly what you want, you go straight to the end. What does that mean? Is you already have what you want. Okay. You become that person. It's a state of being. It's who you're being right now. You're being that most successful version of you. And get this, when you go straight to the end, you already have what you want. So if you want your dream house, you already have it. It's not how you got it. Stop in how will. It's not how you got things. Okay. You just behave and act, make decisions, carry yourself in that naturalness of you already have what you want. Okay. Now what he's saying, when you carry yourself like you already have what you want, you already have your dream life. Okay. At that point, your intuition, you're going to have intuition, you have gut feelings, you're going to have instincts to do something and follow them. That's really what he's talking about. Hopefully I explained it a little bit better. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Let's continue on. If you start worrying about everything that will be involved in getting from here to there, you are bound to bog down in the questions about methodology. Methodology. People always get hung up on the how-to aspects regarding a quantum leap. Listen to that. Like he's saying the same thing. You want something, you're not really living in the end. You're not being that most successful version of you. You're caught up with how do I get there? How do I do it? Okay, you want your dream house. How in the world am I going to get my dream house? How in the world am I going to get the money? How in the world am I going to get the down payment? How in the world am I going to afford my mortgage? You're too much in the how, and it stops you. Okay. Now, again, if you're thinking about the how, you're not behaving like the most successful version of you. You have to understand that. Okay. Okay. And this is why I've been really thinking about this. Even sorry about that. Even with myself, is that sometimes we think that we don't go to Howville. Okay. But we play tricks with ourselves. I mean, we try to play how and figure things out very sneaky, and we catch ourselves going into bad habits again. You know what I mean? I'll give you an example is is even with myself, like I could sit there and say, okay, and carry myself, behave like, make decisions like that I'm the king of YouTube. I'm the king of my domain. I'm a king of my niche on YouTube. Okay. I'm the king of manifesting on YouTube. Okay. My channel's already viral. My whole channel's viral. Okay. Everybody's coming to me for advice. Okay. But listen to this. But would I listen? If I'm really carrying myself as that person already, I already have what I want. It's not about figuring it out. Would I be getting up in the morning and checking my YouTube account and see how many views I got? You know what I mean? I probably wouldn't be doing those things. Okay. Would I be getting up in the morning and checking how many tribe members do I have? I probably wouldn't be doing those things. Would I be getting up in the morning and checking stats from vidIQ on my YouTube channel? I wouldn't be doing those things. You understand that? You're like me in this example, I'm doing habits that are coming from that I don't have instead of habits that I already have. You understand? So what we're constantly doing is we're contradicting ourselves in our 3D world. Okay, when I say behave and act like the most successful version of you, you have to be very aware of your actions and your habits that you're doing because you're doing things that contradict that state. You understand? So let's continue on. And let me take a bite of this donut. Okay. Tastes like they have some sesame seeds on it or something like that. It's not like a regular Thai donut. It's a Thai donut, but Carson Albin sent me a notification. Let me choose this and we'll go on. Okay, let's continue. Now we're on this whole back page. So I guess he'll get nitty gritty on this. So let's continue. He says, skip it. Remember, he was just talking about stop getting involved with the how. Stop trying to figure out how things are going to happen for you. He says, skip it. The answer will come to you. And when they do, you probably will find them to be a simple, streamlined solutions. That's what he's saying. Stop figuring out the how and just let it be. Okay. Let the dead bury the dead. Don't think about it. Just move on with your life. Then the answers will come. And and this is really true. When the answers do come, lots of times they're so simple, we tend to skip over it. So continue. See, then he says, see, a quantum leap is more. Hang on there. I misrepeated it here. See, a quantum leap is a move you've already prepared to make. You just haven't done it yet. You have the potential and the resources are available. The opportunity is there. What has been missing is your decision to go for it. Okay. Lots of times, I can just talk about myself. You know what I mean? Lots of times when I have an intuition to do something, we tend to kind of bury it. We have an intuitive nudge, intuitive thought to do something, a gut feeling to do something. And we think, I'll do it later. And isn't it weird when we say, I'll do it later? Lots of times we totally forget about it. Sometimes the intuition, sometimes a thought is so light, like it's so small, like it's just like it's kind of it's just you don't hardly catch it, but that's your intuition. Like do this, and do it right now. Maybe this will help you frame the situation a lot better. The quantum leap is something you've been keeping from happening. It's something you have to struggle and to it's not something you have to struggle to make happen. You don't really force it into existence. You just let it occur. The key is not to get in the way. Okay. A quantum leap is the unexpected that comes to you with sudden grace. You can open yourself to such a breakthrough. You can even invite it, but you can make it happen. But you can't make it happen by struggling harder or insisting on first developing the perfect plan. I'm sorry, I'm really struggling reading this right now. It's how he's writing. He's writing how you normally don't talk. I apologize. I mean, for me, I tend to write how I talk if I write blogs and stuff like that. And even when I do videos and stuff like that, I try to explain it very simple. So now, I don't know if what level of education. Oh yeah, he's a PhD. I kind of can get it because he writes very academic. Just kind of the structure of his sentences. So let's continue with its academic writing. U² is achieved through an intuitive, instinctive discovery process based on a sense of direction and pursuit. If you have the answers and structure and certainty up front, it's not a quantum leap. The formula does not involve getting everything neatly organized and all the risk eliminated before you make your move. There's an element of hip shooting involved here. Don't count on having all the procedural issues for the journey buttoned down before you begin the trip. Okay, now I can kind of can see what he's saying, but at the same time, even with Never Goddard, it's going straight to the end. You go straight to the end. You behave like you already have what you want, and that's the state you remain in. And you go inside your imagination, and that's what produces. That's where all your intuition comes from. Okay, you have intuitive thoughts, gut feelings to do something, and you follow it, and it's like a puzzle piece. Sometimes it takes you straight there. Sometimes it's a puzzle piece to the next step, the next phase, but it's closer to what you want. You have to understand that. To me, that's what he's trying that's what he's trying to kind of discuss here. But he's writing very academic, like he's writing a thesis paper rather than writing it that people understand what he's saying. You must be willing to tolerate ambiguity, if I could speak English, confusion, possibly even chaos for a while, shaping your game plan as you go. Allow some disorder in your life. And he is right about that. Is you're going to feel out of whack. Okay, anytime you leave your comfort zone, okay, it's going to seem crazy. It's going to seem nothing makes sense. Okay, it's going to seem like you're living outside of your own common sense. Lots of times those are just the feelings we have. If you get too concerned with the step by step plan of action to be followed, you'll find yourself brooding over the potential problems and roadblocks that could be encountered. Now, this is 100% true. He's really kind of digging deep here into you. I mean, this is a real trap. People really are trying to figure out how to make it happen. Okay. They're not just letting it be. They think success isn't that simple. They think manifesting isn't that simple, and manifesting is simple. Okay, it's so simple when I say, hey, what do you want? Leave in the comments right now, what do you want? And you tell me what you want, and I say, well, just be that person right now. That's how simple it is. And you remain in that state until you see it into your visible world. That's how simple it is. This stuff is flipping simple, but we're the ones that make it hard. Okay, it's hard for us. Now, if you tell a kid this, it's so easy. Never Goddard has a really, really good example. I want to go down the rabbit hole with the Never Goddard story. Never Goddard has a really powerful story. I just did a video on it yesterday. It isn't public yet, but about a 9-year-old that was hearing Never Goddard explain the law of assumption. And the 9-year-old turned to Never Goddard. Like when his grandma came to, basically what it was, his grandma came to see Never Goddard. But the grandma brought her 9-year-old grandson with her. The 9-year-old grandson was sitting there, playing with his toy truck the whole time. Never God was talking to the grandma. And when the grandma got up to leave, the 9-year-old turned to Neville and said, and literally repeated what Neville was saying and said, I know what I want. And now I know exactly how to get what I want. So, I mean, it astonished me in that moment when Neville Goddard was explaining this story. It's like a case study from the power of awareness near the end of the chapter. Is that Neville's books can be very confusing because he wrote very sophisticated for his time frame. Okay. His manuscripts and books. When he spoke, he spoke a little bit. Some of his stuff is easy. Some of his stuff is hard to interpret. You have to listen to him for a while to kind of get used to it. But what astonished me in that example is that when he's sitting with you one-on-one, he's had to explain, listen, for a 9-year-old just to be sitting there playing and really grasp the concept of law of assumption and what Neville Goddard was saying. Like Neville had to explain it to the grandma so simple for a kid to pick it up. Not a teenager, okay? Not an older teenager. A kid, a 9-year-old, okay? You get? And the story is really a wonderful story because the story continues. He turns to Neville and he says, I know exactly what I want. Now I know how to get it. And then the 9-year-old continues and he's like, and Neville's like, well, what do you want? And the kid was like, I want a puppy. I want a collie puppy. That's what I want. And now I know how to get it. When I come home, when I go to bed tonight, I'm going to pretend that my puppy is sleeping with me. Okay. In my dreams, I'm going to pretend that I'm walking my puppy and I'm talking to it. You get me? You understand that. I mean, it's such a cute story, but it's a powerful story, how simple this stuff is. And guess what? 6 weeks later, he actually got a puppy, but I won't spoil the story for you. But it's a wonderful story. We're the ones that, honestly, we're the ones that make this difficult. Then sometimes gurus, how they explain it now today, are making it more difficult too. Just how they explain things. Maybe I do it, you know what I mean? Because sometimes it can get hard if you're really into this material and you're trying to dissect it. And, yeah, I mean, I get it, but it's more simple than you think it is. Now, where was I? Okay, let's sum it up. We only have a few sentences to go, and that's it. He says, for now, all you need is an aiming point and action. Okay. You just need to know what he's saying is, now in my interpretation, all you need is an aiming point. Okay. You need to know what you want. Okay. Now, once you know what you want, the action you take is you be that person right now. You live in the end. That's the action you take. What people get confused with action, and they think action is figuring out how to do it. Okay. Action isn't figuring out how to do it. And manifesting, your action is you being that person right now today. If you want your dream house, well, you already have your dream house. So you act like you already have your dream house. Bottom line, if you want to be wealthy, you want to be a millionaire, well, you're wealthy right now today. It's who you're being right now in the state. Okay. That's how you speed things up. Okay. You play with this like a kid. Okay. You play make-believe. You have, in your 3D world, it might sound crazy. It might sound delusional, but that's how you speed things up. Okay. Now let's keep on going. A quantum leap, by definition, means moving into uncharted territory with a guide to follow. You personally draw the map as you go. Now, this is true. Lots of times it's like driving a car at night. When you drive a car at night, you only can see so much in front of you when it's pitch black. But again, you don't stop driving because you don't see, because again, the road, you're not going to drive off the edge of the earth. So you keep on going. But in life, like a lot of us get stuck because a lot of us want to know every little move before we make a decision to do it. Okay. And this is kind of like the metaphor of Moses from the Bible, the really deep metaphor of Moses, an esoteric view of Moses when Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt and they came to the Red Sea. Once they came to the Red Sea, they were trapped. I mean, the Red Sea was huge. I mean, lots of times if you've been to I mean, like you've been to the sea, like if you've been not to an ocean, but it's just a great sea or the Great Lakes in the United States, like when you go there, it looks like a flipping ocean. It's not an ocean, but it's just as big as a flipping ocean to your eyes. So when they come up to it, it's not a flipping stream of water, guys. I mean, they're trapped. Okay. The water is deep. They're trapped and they're literally murmuring, complaining. They want to go right back. They want to go right back. Okay. Because at the same time, remember the Pharaoh that released the Israelites to Moses, the Pharaoh is on their way. They're following him because the Pharaoh changed his mind and he's going to slaughter them. Okay. And the Israelites know this, and Moses knows this. So they're trapped. And listen to this, you're trapped. You came to the point, you're trapped. And the metaphor is you want to go back to your comfort zone. You want to go back to your old life that you murmured and complained about. Okay. That's the metaphor. Okay. You want to go backwards. Okay. But the biggest metaphor is, what did God tell Moses? And I'm not teaching religion here. You're not in a Bible study. Okay. You're not at church with me. Okay. What did God tell Moses? God told Moses is keep walking to the Red Sea. Then Moses listened. And as he got closer, nothing happened. He got closer, nothing happened. Once his feet hit the water, nothing flipping happened. Okay. He kept on walking and walking and walking until the water's up to his waist. He said everybody to follow him. And they listened, hopefully. Then they kept on walking, walking, walking. As they got so far that they couldn't walk anymore, that's when Moses put his staff down. Then the Red Sea split. Okay. And what's the metaphor here if you're listening to this? The metaphor, I mean, most of us, what is your Red Sea? Most of us, we lots of times, our own personal Red Sea is our dream life, what we want, but we're not trying to figure out the how. It's what's happening is it's you know what you want, you be it today. Okay. Now when you're in a state of being, you're going to have intuition and gut feelings to do something. And you take actions on the intuition and gut feelings, but those actions are scary. So you move forward. See, that's your Red Sea. As you're moving forward, the Red Sea splits for you. Okay. It splits for you because you're moving forward. You're taking action, but you're not taking forced action. You understand? Okay. It's really a metaphor in life. Okay. Now, the story, I believe the story is true. I'm not saying the story is not true. Sometimes people try to put words in my mouth, but it's more of a metaphor. That's why he's saying in a sentence that quantum leap, by definition, means moving into uncharted territory with no guide to follow. You personally draw the map as you go. Look at it this way. You're not supposed to be concerned about what happens in the middle of the jump. You're supposed to be thinking about where you're going to land. Okay. And what I'm telling you, now he's explaining it because he's explaining it from the concept of people are so caught up into the how, but I'm explaining it from a concept of you know what you want in life, you know what your attention and desire is, so act like it today. Okay, that's consciousness. Okay, everything you want is inside your own consciousness. Bottom line, you be that person right now today. No matter what it is you can have, you just be it today. Okay, it's your state of being what things are manifesting to you. But other than that, my friends, tribe, YouTube fam, that's the end of the chapter. What is the next chapter? We're not going to do it. But what's the next chapter here? Rely on the unseen forces. So he's continuing with the concept, but we'll do this tomorrow. I got my donuts sitting here. Put that away. So that's it, my friends, tribe, YouTube fam. I got my coffee. My coffee's still kind of warm. Probably lukewarm. Yeah, a little bit lukewarm. I'm not going to drink it all, but that's my second cup. And Aang brought me 4 donuts. holy crap, I'm not going to eat the 4 donuts because I know like down here I'm getting I got to start exercising again, getting in better shape. But anyway, remember, I'll be live every day. If I miss a live, sometimes every once in a while, sometimes the internet's in and out because I'm in Thailand. Sometimes, sometimes I have trouble going live. I do notice that when I'm going live every day now. I mean, certain days are just tricky. You know what I mean? But I am going live every day. Once we get done with the book, I'll still be going live. We'll figure out something to do, or I just pop on here and have people ask me questions and stuff like that. Want to dig deeper into this material, and really, I mean, honestly, it's how to live life on your terms. We all want something different, so stop debate. Like lots of times we get caught up into like what I want is better than what Becky wants over here. And if you're thinking that way, you're never going to get what you want because you're putting somebody else down in the process. You think you're superior than somebody else. So it's a clash. Remember, we're all in consciousness. Everybody's interconnected. And this is a hard concept to get, but it's like unforgiveness. Okay. That's why in the Bible, Jesus said is forgive, because he knew everything was in consciousness. If you think about it, consciousness, that you're interconnected to everything and everybody. And when you have unforgiveness in your heart, you're chained, you're anchored to that other person. That's why Jesus said to forgive, because it breaks that chain, it cuts that rope. You understand? But anyway, other than that, Trey, I gotta go. And it was nice hanging out with some of you, popping on here and there. And other than that, I'll see you tomorrow on the next live stream. Of course, I'll see you on YouTube, all the videos, stuff like that. And if you have questions, of course, comment on the live. I'll help you out as much as I can if you have questions. Other than that, peace out, and I'll see you in the next live.